Today, we are going to be talking about treating manifestation as an experiment. So, as you know, I am really here to help you all learn manifestation in a way that works for you. I know that there's a lot of hype out there about manifestation, some very good, some very confusing, some problematic. And if you are drawn to manifestation, I really do believe it's for a reason. I think there is something for you there. I think that this is a tool that you could really use to accomplish your goals in a more aligned, holistic way, or to change your whole life if you really wanted to really accomplish and create things that you never thought were possible for you. And that's really how I use manifestation, and how I teach my clients to use manifestation, is to really extend their realm of possibility and do things that otherwise would seem completely impossible. That's literally how I have approached manifestation for the past 6 years, and how I've been teaching it for the past 3 years. But one of the things that trips people up is what they're supposed to be doing while they're waiting for their manifestation. And there are a lot of different things that I would recommend you focus on during this time. But while you're waiting for your manifestation, one of the key mindsets that I want you to be in is seeing manifestation as an experiment. And I go deeper into this in my Moody and Magnetic program. We have a module on this also in a course I teach called Manifestation for Sensitive Souls. But today, I really just want us to think about, what would it look like if your manifestations were not this be all end all, if it wasn't a test that you had to pass, if it wasn't a measure of your self-worth, whether or not your manifestation worked in the time frame that you wanted it to. But it's just something that you're learning and something that you can be really curious about. And in order to step into that energy of curiosity, I really teach my clients to see this as an experiment. So with an experiment, you ask a question, you create your hypothesis for what you think is the answer to that question, and then you do a series of tests to figure out whether or not your hypothesis was correct. And that's really all manifestation is your question, which is whatever the intention is that you're setting for your manifestation. We can see that as your research question. Your approach to how you're going to manifest this thing, and then your hypothesis, which the hypothesis is really what you think it's going to take and how long you think it'll take. So what are the action steps that you think you need to take? Who do you think you need to get in contact with? What are the opportunities that you think you need? Basically, your idea of how this is going to come to life. And then also, I teach students to have a time frame as well, which maybe I will go into on this live stream, maybe I won't. We'll see how long I'm here. But I really teach students to set this up like a project that they're doing, right? And so it's I'm intending to manifest this. It would be cool to do it in this time frame. And here are some of my theories and my ideas for how I think this could come to pass. So I don't really teach ignoring the how. I know that it's important to release the how, and I think releasing the how is something that is trickier than it sounds. It's something that a lot of people struggle with, but we do have to have some kind of relationship with the how. We can't just pretend that the how doesn't matter. We can't just not take any action and then expect the manifestation to show up. And I think it is important for us to really use our brains and come up with our best guess for what we think we need to do in order to bring the manifestation to life. And that is one of those things that you could be doing while you are quote unquote waiting for your manifestation. So in between the time when you set the intention and when the manifestation actually comes to fruition, you could be every morning or every week coming up with a list of things that you think will help you move the manifestation forward. And then actually going out in the world, trying those things out, seeing what happens, and then based on what happens, coming up with a new theory, based on what worked, based on what didn't work, coming up with a new theory and going out and trying it again. Now, this isn't about over-functioning or over-actioning. This isn't about just throwing spaghetti at the wall. This isn't about burning out. But this is about consistently inviting yourself to move the manifestation forward in the best way that you know how. And sometimes when you sit down and you ask yourself, what can I do today to move my manifestation forward? The answer that will come through is, I can take a break. Today, I can, go out and meet people at a party, and maybe I don't exactly see how this will connect to my manifestation, but maybe just getting some fresh energy in my life will help, introduce me to new perspectives, or will help me to show up as a different version of myself, or whatever it might be. But and you can trust your intuition here, you do know what it is going to take to bring your manifestation to life. And I hate to see people who are actually really smart and really capable not putting their mind in the manifestation equation, because maybe you feel like if you were really spiritual and surrendered, you wouldn't be trying to figure it out at all. Or maybe you're afraid that if you try to solve for it and if you try to figure it out, then you're just going to burn yourself out. But the truth is that you know a lot more than you give yourself credit for, and you probably do know how to manifest the thing that you want. And then the piece where the universe comes in and where it becomes a co-creation is that you need to be willing to trust that as you're making your list and as you're taking your action steps and as you're trying things and seeing what works, you have to maintain faith and confidence that it will come to fruition and that it will be inevitable. Even if the first thing you try doesn't work, even if the second thing you try doesn't work, even if the third thing you try doesn't work, it might come in a way that was completely unpredictable. And a lot of the times it does come in a way that you didn't ultimately come up with yourself. Like something happens, some kind of synchronicity lines up and it works out. But in order to be in the flow, in order to be available for those synchronicities, in order to even have your eyes open so that you can take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves, you need to be in this mindset and in this posture of, I'm figuring this out. I am showing up for this every day. I am doing what I know to do, and I'm continuing to educate myself and ask questions and reach out to people who can help me and grow into the version of me who can really do this, right? And that is your responsibility. That is your role in the co-creation. And then the universe, what spirit does, what the universe does, is spirit really allows you to trust, like I said, that no matter what, it will work out. And that you're not relying on, oh, this one thing has to be the answer or otherwise I'm screwed. Or if I tried this and it doesn't work, then maybe it's not meant for me after all. When your mind is going to those places, that's how you know that you're not surrendered. But surrendered, and what surrender really means, is that you are relaxed and you are not in a place of anxiety about the manifestation, but you're really just enjoying the process of bringing it to life. You're enjoying the process of figuring it out. You're not getting discouraged by mistakes. And if you do get discouraged, it's temporary and you're able to build yourself back up and keep moving. You're not getting completely knocked out and derailed every time something doesn't work out. And you're not continually asking the question in the back of your mind, will this ever work? Will this happen for me? Can I really do this? Those questions are not a part of the equation when you are surrendered and when you're actually co-creating and teaming up with the divine. And so that's really the difference. That's how you balance the surrender and the action. Is the surrender is what allows you to be at peace. The surrender is what allows you to proceed and even to access your creativity, because when you're in a state of anxiety and you're wondering, is it going to happen? Can I really do this? Then you're not even able to access your creative ideas. Your decision making is not as good because you are not at peace. And so you have to really get into that state of surrender where you trust that it will happen. And even though you don't know exactly how, these are some things that you're going to try, and that you're willing to figure it out and you're willing to do your part, but you believe 100% that even if it's not this particular action step that brings the manifestation to life, something will work. And so I'm going to keep trying until I try the thing that works. Like, that's really the place that you want to be in. And when you look at manifestation like an experiment, and when you're continually creating hypotheses and testing them out and creating new ones and testing them out, it allows you to access this place where you are really setting yourself up well to successfully manifest the thing that you want. And so the way that you do this without burning out is that you don't go on social media and start comparing yourself to everyone else and decide that you have to reverse engineer what someone else did. And you don't go and start asking advice from people who have never even created the thing that you want. You don't go and start listening to your inner critic who tells you that you need to work harder and that you're not doing enough and who shames you for taking a break. You have to keep your mind really clear and really focused. And you have to spend time listening to your intuition, not just being analytical about it. So I would recommend, if you don't already, have a regular meditation practice. Have tools and practices that help you connect to your intuition. I love breath work, meditation, journaling. I read tarot. Like, those are the things that I do for myself to keep myself connected to my intuition, so that when I am coming up with my ideas for how I'm going to manifest my desires, I'm doing that from a place of being grounded and being intuitive, not from like trying to grasp at straws or trying to like reverse engineer what someone else did or whatever it might be. Because when you do that, that is how you burn out. That is how you go in a cycle. One of my mentors calls it a cycle of seek and do not find, but basically it feels like you're on a wild goose chase, like trying to find the answer to a question and it never works, and you keep like wondering if it's ever going to happen for you. Like, all of that cycle, that is where burnout really comes from. But you can be energized and go for years and years if you are in the place of, I am figuring this out and I have access to all the answers that I need. I trust my intuition. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to learn from the process. I did not expect to sneeze, but I think this is a good place to end. I think that is my intuition telling me that I've shared all I needed to share today. And I will say that if you like this conversation, and if you're listening to this around the time when it comes out, I actually have a free class called Rock the Void, which is all about what to do while you're waiting for your manifestation. So I go much deeper into different topics like this, and I am so excited because this is material that I'm going to be sharing over the course of 2 days. So there's a lot. There's daily practices, there's mindset stuff like we talked about today, a lot of like emotional regulation and healing, and it's going to be so special. So if you have the opportunity to be a part of this, I would really recommend it. I would love to see you there. It's happening on September 16th and September 17th, and the last day to sign up is September 16th. So it's completely free. You can find it at the link in my bio, or if you're listening on the podcast, you can find it down below this episode, or I think YouTube as well, down below this episode. But I love you so much. I am really rooting for you in your manifestations. And again, if you get a chance to join me on the 16th and 17th, I would love to see you at Rock the Void. Take great care.